Number 10. Lea Michele. The actress who played the most arrogant character on Glee has recently been outed as being one of the meanest celebrities in Hollywood. The music TV series that helped Lea Michele rise to fame was also her undoing, as it looks like the horrible way she treated the cast and crew on set came back to bite her. Many of her peers, including actress Samantha Ware, spoke out against her behavior. She told Variety, quote, "It was after I did my first performance. That's when it started. The silent treatment, the stare downs, the looks, the comments under her breath, the weird passive aggressiveness, it all built up." After Samantha spoke out, dozens of co-stars, film crew and staff flooded social media with stories about the diva. There were even reports of Michelle only speaking to people through her assistant and not acknowledging her co-star's presence. As expected, she came out and issued an apology, but people still haven't forgotten about her atrocious behavior, and when it was announced that she was replacing fellow actress Beanie Feldstein in the Broadway production of Funny Girl, fans were up in arms and some have even called for a boycott. Number 9. Mike Myers. His name is synonymous with the hilarious and charismatic character Austin Powers. However, the actor is reportedly completely different in real life, especially on set. There have been numerous reports suggesting that Myers is a nightmare to work with some even claiming him to be a control freak and grumpy. It has come to light that the actor makes tons of demands of his assistants. In fact, Myers reportedly made life a daily nightmare for the cast and crew of one of his biggest films. According to Amy Hill, who was his co-star in The Cat in the Hat, she said it was a horrible, nightmarish experience. Hill claimed that he selfishly kept everyone waiting for hours, overruled the director, and even had someone standing by just holding his personal chocolates in a dish. Quote, "It was so weird, it was just the worst, I was miserable." Another story involves a fan that offered to buy the actor a drink. After telling Myers how much he enjoyed his work, Myers allegedly just looked at him and said, "I can afford my own drinks," cursed at him, and said, "Save your money for my next movie." Ouch. Apart from being notoriously difficult to work with, his mean-spirited attitude towards regular people have shrunk his fan base down to a fraction of what it used to be. Number 8. Rachael Ray. The celebrity cook has a reputation for being a meanie. Many fans in her audience have reported that before filming her show, she often avoids speaking to them and appears cold and disinterested, and just looks like she would rather be somewhere else. But it's not just her fans. In fact, several famous chefs have publicly come out saying that they straight up don't like her, like Martha Stewart and the late Anthony Bourdain. Even members of Ray's own family have turned against her. In 2013, scandal broke out after Ray's aunt, Geraldine, tragically died while staying at Ray's house. But neither Ray nor her husband John showed up at the funeral. Instead, she was allegedly tweeting about cats, recipes, and TV shows, which led her cousin, Gina Mesnick, to speak out against her. Quote, "I found it very insensitive and inappropriate. It just shows how demeaning Rachael was to my family on the day we buried my mom after she died under such horrible circumstances." Her fan base is now practically non-existent. In fact, a good portion of the internet harbors deep loathing for the chef. There's so many online forums dedicated to Rachael Ray slander. In fact, there's even a blog called Rachael Ray Sucks, and you can guess what kind of things people post on there. Number 7. Russell Crowe. The actor has had a reputation for being outright mean to both his Hollywood peers and his fans, making him an extremely controversial figure in the industry. I mean, where to start with Russell Crowe? There were rumors that he threatened any media platform that published stories about him having a fling with Courtney Love. But a great example of his overall attitude is when he intimidated and attacked the producer of the BAFTA Awards for cutting his speech short and preventing him from reciting poetry. In 2005, he was then charged with criminal possession of a weapon for allegedly throwing a phone and cutting a hotel clerk's eye, all because he was unable to get connected with his wife. One of the lesser talked about but worrying incidents involves Crowe and rapper Azealia Banks. Crowe forcibly removed her from a party he was hosting. Not only that, but he was said to have been violent and allegedly spat on her and used racist language. The Australian actor is also notoriously difficult to work with and is known for regularly shouting at his scriptwriters, yelling at them on phone calls while discussing the story. So it's safe to say that he lost not only film roles but a lot of fans due to his outright nastiness. Number 6. Jared Leto. The actor and singer really seemed to be getting a lot of backlash in recent years, especially in the era of the Me Too movement. It seemed that out of his fellow Hollywood celebrities, not everyone was willing to be silent when they heard he was behaving inappropriately inappropriately towards young women. In 2018, Suit Life of Zack and Cody star Dylan Sprouse came forward on Twitter and brought disturbing allegations against him to light. Quote, "Yo, Jared Leto, now that you've slid into the DMs of every female model aged 18 to 25, what would you say your success rate is?" As you would have predicted, the tweet totally blew up and many people were happy that he was finally getting called out. The situation quickly escalated when Guardians of the Galaxy director James Gunn tweeted the following as an answer to Sprouse's initial tweet. Quote, "He starts at 18 on the internet? Aside from predatory behavior, Leto has treated his fans horribly and was seen on occasion randomly giving the finger to audience members. As a result, he really doesn't have many mainstream fans left, save for the fans of his cult/band 30 Seconds to Mars." Number 5. Ellen DeGeneres. She was one of the most popular talk show hosts in the world only a few years ago, with fans across the globe. But all that came crashing down for Ellen DeGeneres when she was exposed for being ruthless to her employees when the cameras weren't rolling, and just a downright mean-spirited person. Her motto was ironically, "Be kind," and that completely backfired on her when former employees started coming forward with their Ellen horror stories. In a BuzzFeed article, the comedian was labeled a bully and named as the culprit for creating a toxic work environment by one current and 10 former employees, who anonymously gave their true thoughts about her in the article. They essentially confirmed what up until then had only been rumors, with one TV writer claiming that Ellen required anyone who talks to her at work to chew gum from a bowl outside of her office first, and that she would frequently send staff home to shower if she thought that they smelled bad. While the accusations haven't hurt her bank balance, Ellen's image has been tarnished forever, and you'd have to search the internet for days to find anyone that still supports her. Number 4. Catherine Zeta-Jones. You wouldn't think the actress was someone with a bad attitude, but it appears that's exactly what she has. The most famous story about her happened way back in 1998, when an 8-year-old girl was attending a special screening of The Mask of Zorro. She went up to Catherine Zeta-Jones and asked her for some advice on acting, as that is the career path that she wanted to follow. Catherine allegedly looked her up and down and said sarcastically, "You're pretty enough, I suppose," before turning back to her conversation. Not to mention what she said in 2018, which really highlighted how she perceives herself. Quote, "I'm sick of being humble, I really am. Sorry I'm rich, so sorry I'm married to a movie star, so sorry I'm not so bad looking." In fact, according to Page 6, the actress regularly sings her own praises and brags about how much money she has compared to other people. In 2003, she was quoted saying, "$1 million isn't a lot of money for people like us." I mean, if that wasn't enough, she said, quote, "Some people collect art or lots of money. We collect houses because if we have to look at something, we prefer the view." Yeah, most people were not jumping to support the actress with a track record of saying things like that. Number 3. Katherine Heigl. Television medical drama Grey's Anatomy catapulted Katherine Heigl into the limelight. The thing is, she has a reputation of being extremely unpleasant to work with, and after trashing her most popular movie ever, she lost a whole bunch of fans. I'm talking about 2007's Knocked Up. It was not just hilarious, but very well received all round, scoring an 89% on Rotten Tomatoes and bringing in $219 million at the box office against a $25 million budget. But Katherine was less than thrilled about her participation in the movie and called the film sexist, telling Vanity Fair in 2008 that she thought the movie, quote, "paints women as shrews, as humorless and uptight. It paints the men as lovable, goofy, fun-loving guys." She went on to say that she had a hard time with the film on some days because she said that her character was a B-word and a killjoy. Not only that, but Heigl's bad reputation stems largely from her decision to decline a second Emmy nomination for Grey's Anatomy in 2008. She released a cringy public statement that claimed she simply wasn't given the material this season to warrant an Emmy nomination. Talk about biting the hand that feeds you. Number 2. Jamie Lynn Spears. Someone that has lost all support from what little fan base she had to begin with is Jamie Lynn Spears. She's known pretty much as the younger sibling of Britney Spears, but she didn't exactly hide long in her sister's shadow before entering the limelight. Although she made a few appearances in film and television as a child, she didn't receive star status until landing the lead role as Zoe Brooks on the Nickelodeon show Zoe 101. After 3 years on the very popular show, the then 16-year-old announced that she was pregnant, effectively ending her role and putting her acting career on hiatus. But people dislike the star because of the horrific way she has treated her sister over the years. In fact, fans of Britney have heavily criticized Jamie Lynn for an apparent lack of support during her sister's 14-year-long conservatorship. In fact, the former actress has been accused of trying to steal Britney's fortune, fighting against the movement to free her from her conservatorship, and writing tell-all books to try and profit off of her sister's name while trying to make her look bad. With Britney now finally able to speak up for herself and reportedly working on her own memoir, it will probably result in even more exposure of Jamie Lynn's horrific behavior. Number 1. Fay Dunaway. Once called the worst person in Hollywood by Bette Davis, the Academy Award winner is no doubt one of the meanest people in the industry. In 2019, she was actually fired from the Broadway production of Tea at 5 because of bizarre behavior which included hurling objects at crew members and slapping her wig-fitting team, throwing salad on the floor, and even insisting that no one wear white to rehearsal because it's distracting. That's not all. In fact, she reportedly shrieks at service industry employees and thinks that her plane tickets should be upgraded as a matter of principle. A flight attendant once claimed Dunaway was screaming at everyone, saying, "Don't you know who I am?" And while filming Chinatown, the actor once reportedly threw a cup of urine on director Roman Polanski because he wouldn't let her use the restroom. In 2019, she was also sued by her former personal assistant, who claimed that she regularly and relentlessly subjected him to, quote, demeaning tirades, and used his sexual orientation as a gay man against him. And according to an insider, Dunaway was so demonic on the set of Mummy Dearest that no one dared to approach her for fear of being verbally attacked. So it's not surprising that she no longer has many fans left at all.
And at number 10, Oprah. This is one that was incredibly shocking to me because Oprah is one of the most beloved people in the world, and other celebrities are constantly singing her praises, sharing how down-to-earth and nice Oprah is in real life. But it seems that Oprah might act a little differently when the cameras are not rolling, or when she's not talking to another celebrity. A waiter that served Oprah for lunch shared their eye-rolling encounter with the TV host. They wrote on Reddit, quote, "Oprah didn't tip me on a $200 lunch. Instead, she signed a napkin for me and acted like she was doing me a huge favor. The kicker was when she walked in, they gave away all of my other tables so she didn't have to wait for anything. So I made $4 an hour for 2 hours for the privilege of serving Oprah." And she went on and on about signing a napkin that I never even asked for. It still makes me so mad when I hear that celebrities do not tip. Like, Oprah is a billionaire. She can afford to tip. It's so outrageous. And at number 9, Chevy Chase. This one is less of a shock because it's well known that Chevy Chase is not the greatest guy, although he plays lovable characters on screen. Many of his former SNL castmates have spoken out against him, and he was even banned from the show for his problematic behavior. One Reddit user shared that he is just as awful in real life. They wrote, quote, "I saw Chevy Chase at a hotel once as a small 9-year-old, and I love the National Lampoon's Vacation movies. When I asked for his autograph, he verbally went off on me. When my dad came over, he went off on him. He said something messed up, which is that my dad wasn't raising me right. The dude is a straight up jerk." And at number 8, Randy Jackson. Randy Jackson is another star I only ever heard good things about. He was known for being the good guy on American Idol compared to Simon Cowell, who was notoriously savage towards contestants. But this might be another case of a celebrity being completely two-faced, acting nice and friendly while on camera, but being completely different when cameras are not rolling. One Reddit user shared a behind-the-scenes look at Randy during a children's hospital event. Quote, "Randy Jackson was invited to a telethon hosted by a hospital for children with disabilities, where my little sister lived until she passed away. Whenever the cameras were off, he'd hide in his hotel room and seem disgusted with the kids. He didn't want anything to do with them. When the cameras were on though, he was all smiles and hugs. It was so disheartening and disappointing to witness. It was over 10 years ago and I still remember it to this day." And at number 7, Carrie Underwood. This one honestly breaks my heart. This person, who has seen a ton of celebrities in their workplace, said that Carrie Underwood was by far the worst. They wrote, quote, "I worked as a maintenance worker at a concert venue for a few summers and I bumped into several celebrities. But Carrie Underwood is the one who sticks out because of how demanding she always was. She refused to use a toilet if someone else had sat on the seat before her, so we had to buy new toilet seats every time she came. Considering how much we already had to fix, the last thing we wanted to do was pointlessly replace perfectly good toilet seats. In contrast, Reba McEntire would always eat lunch with the staff and was always super chill." Can you imagine how entitled you have to be to demand like a new toilet basically? I cannot believe the venue agreed to do that for her. And at number 6, Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry is a famous actor and producer that fans might not know that much about. However, many celebrities have shared just how open-hearted and kind that he is. Specifically, when Meghan Markle and Prince Harry were being interviewed by Oprah Winfrey after leaving the royals, they shared that they were on the verge of being homeless with no security. However, Tyler Perry offered them his LA home to live in, along with giving them security until they were able to work it out. What an amazing guy, right? Well, apparently he doesn't treat normal people as nice. A person who worked to promote Perry's movie, Boo! A Madea Halloween in 2016, shared his strange behavior and long list of demands. Apparently, Perry flew private to the event with 13 of his staff. They were all forced in the back of the plane, while he had the entire front to himself. They added, quote, "His team sent our local agency a long list of demands and rules in anticipation of his arrival. Tyler wanted to be addressed referred to as Mr. Perry. We were prohibited to speak to him directly, only to his team. Room temperature orange Gatorade had to be in his green room. Furniture wasn't allowed in his press interview suite. All media and press had to travel to him. Mr. Perry would not leave the hotel, and he wouldn't wait for anyone." The person added that his entire team seemed terrified of him. Halfway number 5, Nicki Minaj. Nicki Minaj is a celebrity with mixed reviews. Tons of people say she's down to earth and loves her fans, while others have shared some negative experiences with the star. One person shared their experience working with Minaj on set, writing, quote, "I've worked with Nicki Minaj before, and while on a set with her, I was told not to look her in the face. She also had people move out of the room before she would come in the room. It was a whole ordeal." And at number 4, Miles Teller. Miles Teller being on this list should not be a shock to anyone, because he is constantly called out for his horrible behavior. Even reporters that have interviewed him have called him entitled and rude. He's even trashed well-loved and respected actors like John Cusack. When a reporter told him they are similar actors, Teller replied, quote, "I guess we look alike. We did some similar movies. He wasn't traditionally good-looking, who was offbeat and quirky but confident. I get it, but I don't want his career." And people who have met him in real life have had similar experiences. They wrote, quote, "I met Miles Teller at a bar. He told my friend to buy him a drink, and he still refused to take a picture with him. He ended up smacking my phone out of my hand, and I'll never watch a movie with him in it again." And at number 3, Jim Belushi. One fan shared just how terrible Jim Belushi was to them after they waited hours for an autograph. To make it worse, one of Belushi's co-stars was incredibly nice and made the contrast even worse. They wrote, quote, "Years ago us kids waited for Jim Belushi and John Candy after they shot Only the Lonely in Chicago. Asked Belushi for an autograph and he literally called us a bunch of pieces of stupid kids and to get the F out of there. Then came Candy with a big old smile and a cigar hanging out of his mouth, and he spent the next 10 minutes signing autographs and thanking all of his fans." And at number 2, Alec Baldwin. Given all the scandals that Alec Baldwin has been in, it's no surprise that he's notoriously rude. He's attacked paparazzi, gotten in physical fights with hecklers, and he's been known to be very arrogant. One Reddit user spoke of their interaction and wrote, quote, "One day in the Hamptons, I ran into Alec Baldwin and his wife and their 2 dogs. I was 6, so I wanted to pet their dogs. Mind you, they left their dogs outside of the store, so I didn't know they were theirs. They quickly yanked their dogs away from me and yelled at me. I was 6. That just proves the kind of people they are. I mean, who gets mad at a kid for petting a dog that you left outside? And finally, number 1, Gene Simmons. Gene Simmons is apparently so awful in real life, multiple Reddit users shared negative experiences with him. One user said, quote, "My brother met Gene Simmons backstage at a show he was playing in. Gene complimented my brother highly on his guitar playing, but then said, quote, 'Too bad you'll never make it,' and just walked away." Another person told the story of his dad running into Simmons after one of his Kiss shows. The dad complimented Simmons on the show, and he replied, quote, "I hope the next time you're sucking to impress someone you pucker up more," and then walked off. My dad was pissed and told his friends it was time to go, and the bartender stopped them on their way out. Before he left, Gene and his entourage told the bartender that my dad was paying for their drinks. It cost my dad almost $100 to pay for their alcohol.
Coming in at number 10 today, we have Megan Fox. Because kindness still isn't universal online, Megan Fox has had to deal with some pretty nasty comments with some disrespectful fans. However, the star has also shot back some pretty sarcastic comments with fans to prove she's not the nicest person to deal with. Even crew members on the Transformers set have noted it was unbearable and ungracious to work with the star. When the 3 anonymous crew members who work with Megan on the blockbuster film came forward to talk about their time working on the set with her, they would become an open book and they would brand Megan as a dumb, ungracious, rude, and unbearable actress, and that it was just the tip of the toxic iceberg that they melted. The crew members went on to explain that after working for 12 months on set making 2 movies with the star, she showed little interest in the crew members around her, and while the crew worked extremely hard to make her look good in every single way, she
She never appreciated anyone's hard work, and she never even said thank you. After she would be replaced after the second Transformers movie, after being difficult to work with, Megan would try to defend herself by saying the director, Michael Bay, was actually the nightmare to work with. However, once the crew members came forward anonymously against Megan, it would show the star was definitely someone you don't want to communicate with in Hollywood. Number 9, Cameron Diaz. Cameron Diaz is known for her work in Charlie's Angels and countless romantic comedies. However, she isn't known for being pleasant during fan interactions. If you were maybe looking to get an autograph from the star one day, you might just want to rethink that thought, as Cameron isn't afraid to refuse to give any fan a lecture on how dumb autographs are. During the red carpet event for the premiere of X-Tape, several eyewitnesses would come forward to say how awful Cameron was to her admirers. Fans have also explained that her behavior and attitude with them was absolutely disgusting. After fans waited hours for a chance to meet her, they would be ignored and some would even be lectured. Cameron at one point even yelled at one of her fans by saying, "If I did it for you, I'd have to do it for everyone," before storming off. Cameron is known to be pretty unfriendly with her fans, and it's honestly pretty disappointing. However, she wouldn't be the only one to be rude and show terrible attitude towards fans during the X-Tape premiere, as Jason Segel would also be extremely rude to their fans who were there admiring the movie and them. With there only being 4 to 5 fans actually waiting for them, it would have taken less time for them to take a few photos and sign a couple autographs than it did to lecture their fans. Hey Peaches, are you enjoying this video so far? If so, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Coming in at number 8 today, we have Rihanna. So in 2014, Rihanna would come under fire as it would be discovered that she was cyberbullying a 16-year-old fan over her prom outfit. So Alexis Carter took style inspiration from Rihanna for her Hollywood-themed prom at her Baltimore high school in 2010. So the look Alexis tried to recreate was a look where Rihanna wore a head-turning teal wing jumpsuit. So Alexis loved this look so much that she decided to create her own version of the outfit, and then she would share some of the photos of her prom ensemble on social media. When memes quickly started to take off, showing the teen extending her arms in the material with the wings on full display. In one of the shots, she's shown next to a really glamorous red carpet photo of Rihanna in the exact same outfit, with a caption saying Instagram versus real life comparison outfits. Another set of photos would also go viral with Alexis's pose, and she would be pictured next to a curved W of the Wu-Tang symbol. Rihanna would then share the images on her Twitter account, adding a frowny face to the one comparison photo of her. When the singer went to great lengths to put the pictures up side by side, mocking the fan, other fans would come to tell Riri that her move was uncool. However, when Rihanna posted a comparison photo of Alexis's dress with the Wu-Tang symbol, saying she gets it, we can't imagine anything more humiliating for a 16-year-old than to be mocked by your idol. And number 7, Hailey Bieber. Hailey Bieber got slammed over social media after a viral TikTok claimed that she was rude to a former restaurant hostess, Julia Carolyn. In the video, Julia would say that this is going to be controversial. I met Hailey a handful of times, and every time she was just not nice. I really want to like her, but I have to give her 3.5 out of 10. Sorry. After Hailey found out about the video, she would end up taking to the comments to say, just came across this video and wanted to say sorry if I've ever given you bad vibes or bad attitude. That's not my intention. She also added that she hopes to one day meet the hostess again to apologize in person. Afterwards, Hailey would then open up and say she felt bad about Julia's experience with her and that it wasn't the greatest, and that the whole situation actually made her frustrated because you never know what someone's going through. Hailey then tried to explain that she was going through some pretty tough times and she was sad and heartbroken and felt like engaging with people was really hard for her. She wished she didn't act that way and that she made a mistake out of character for her, but if it happened on every occasion that you met her, do you really expect us to believe that it was really out of character for you? Coming in at number 6, Kendall Jenner. Now, Hailey wouldn't be the only celebrity that Julia would call out, as in 2 videos posted to her TikTok, she would reveal that she didn't have the best interactions with Kendall and Kylie Jenner. With Kendall being one of the most low-key members of the family, she's exhibited some pretty outrageous diva behavior in the past. In 2014, the model would find herself making headlines after finding herself in a situation with Mercer Kitchen in New York City. Jenner would be dining with her best friend, Hailey Bieber, and she got upset at the fact that the staff didn't want to serve her any more alcohol, so she decided it'd be a good idea to leave the establishment without paying for her meal. When she got confronted by the staff, she would then throw $20 at them without even checking to see if that was enough to cover her bill and her tip. 3 years after the initial dine and dash, Kendall would
would find herself under fire again after she failed to tip. When the establishment posted a picture of the receipt on their Instagram page, they would say, "Don't forget to tip your bartender." Kendall would then try to cover up her tracks by saying, "Next time we won't tip in cash." While it's hard to believe what actually happened in both of these separate events, Julia did reveal on her TikTok that Kendall doesn't talk to the staff and her behavior never really comes across well for those in the restaurant industry. And number 5, Jason Segel. Following the premiere of X Tape at Union Square Theater in New York back in 2014, Jason Segel would find himself under fire for being unbelievably rude to fans who had shown up to support him in the new film. Eyewitnesses would later tell gossip sites that when Cameron Diaz and Jason were leaving the theater with a handful of fans asking for photos or autographs, the two celebrities just opted to treat them like dirt. The witnesses would even point out, while there was only 4 to 5 fans waiting, it's not like the fans were following them, as it was a premiere for fans to attend. However, both stars' attitudes towards the fans were absolutely disgusting. When a 20-year-old fan asked Jason for a photo when he was leaving the premiere, Jason would scream no, and he would literally slam the car door right in the fan's face. People in the crowd would then gasp to acknowledge how bad the moment actually was. Jason was downright nasty to his fan when there was no need for it. As there wasn't a huge crowd of people waiting for the stars, it was only 4 to 5 people, and it would have taken them less time to interact with the fans than it was to give them each lectures and slam doors in their face. So while Hollywood has painted him to be the sweet guy next door with the characters he plays, he's definitely not the guy we thought he was. And number 4, we have Jennifer Lawrence. So Jennifer Lawrence is known for her relatable personality and sense of humor. However, she hasn't always been super nice to her fans, and she's even admitted that she can actually be quite rude to her fans, so she can avoid interacting with them. Which is actually a pretty odd behavior if you think about it. Jennifer has said that her fearless approach to life doesn't come across well in the public eye. And in 2016, Jennifer would even lash out at a reporter for no reason because he was looking at his phone during a press conference instead of paying attention to her. She's even tried to explain that the reason she acts so rude is because it's the only way she knows how to defend herself, as she gets really protective about her private space. So if you see her out for dinner and you think it's a good idea to flash a couple photos on your iPhone, just know she's a really rude person and she might just call you out on it. She definitely doesn't want to, but she will do it. So people in the future, leave her alone because she's not your friend. And number 3, Sandra Bolick. Sandra Bolick may play these compassionate, caring characters, however, that doesn't mean that her real self is as kind or giving. And she's actually been described by many fans as one of the meanest people in Hollywood to meet. While the star refuses to make time for people, she was once considered to be one of America's sweethearts. However, her rude behavior has caused her to lose that title. In 2014, Denise Coates told Star magazine that she was out with her husband, who happens to be a war veteran, when they ran into Sandra in Boston while she was filming The Heat. Sandra was on a filming break, and when Denise and her husband approached her, Sandra just ended up being extremely rude. She would cover her face and would even start yelling at the couple and threw insults at the man in the wheelchair after they just asked her for an autograph. Now sure, we get it. Not all celebrities have time to greet their fans because they're on this busy schedule, and we understand it can be annoying when they're hounded by mobs of fans. However, with it being just a single wheelchair-bound veteran and his wife approaching you in a polite request, did the autograph really warrant a yelling match? She could have just turned down the request. Instead, she just shocked us all with her rude response. And number 2, Toby Maguire. When Toby Maguire had a pretty bad gambling habit, he was reportedly part of the infamous poker ring with Molly Bloom. Now, Molly organized games many Hollywood superstars attended in the early 2000s, but Toby was one of her most frequent visitors. In her memoir, Molly's Game, which was made into a movie, she would reveal that Toby was one of the worst tippers, best players, and absolute worst loser. Molly would also reveal that Toby once tried to humiliate her when she was at the tables by demanding that she should bark like a seal who wants fish in order to earn $1,000 in poker chips, all because he thought she was making a little too much money that night. When the poker game organizer added that she just tried to laugh it off, the actor continued to persist, and he would go on to say, "I'm not kidding. What's wrong? You're too rich now? You won't bark for $1,000? What makes this incident even more funnier is Toby would even refuse to play without a shuffle master, which is like a $17,000 device that's supposed to deliver a fair random shuffle, and he even tried charging the machine for rent as he wanted $200 a night every time it was used. And coming at number 1 today, we have Christina Aguilera. Now, Christina Aguilera may be a vocal powerhouse powerhouse. However, rumor has it that the star hasn't always been the nicest when it comes to her fans, and she can actually get pretty nasty with people auditioning or performing on The Voice. When Christina was still a judge on The Voice, she would even go as far to scold one of the contestants because he wasn't paying super close attention to her critiques. With the singer repeatedly asking the male singer to take off his pants, he thinks she would have stopped after asking him for the third time. And her behavior would just get more worse as the show went on, as her attitude reportedly didn't even stop when the fans were actually famous themselves. Even actress Valerie Bertolini said that she once approached Christina to say, "Oh my god, I think you're a beautiful singer," and she would claim that Christina paid no attention to her comment and just said, "Yeah, whatever," before walking away.